you must think about how this affects you personally. Have you started to prepare for Plan B?
I'm beginning to think about it, and I think in a very few years I'm not going to live in London. I'm not going to live in the depths of the countryside because I think that's going to be difficult too. But I do want to live in a medium-sized community where there is enough critical mass for commerce, where there is community and commerce, but not so large as it's anonymous in the sense of living in a large city. And I think that's sort of where I want to be. And I'm working on my energy consumption, and I'm prepared for the moment. One of the things that I recommend to people to do is to tackle their mileage. I mean, that's the real thing. I mean, I think the key to all this is beginning to proactively cut the amount of miles you drive in your car, and that you are forced to drive in your car to simply make daily life possible. Because all of that is, I don't think it's going to get taken away in as it were in an instant, but it's going to become increasingly hard, and it may become hard in a series of rather unpleasant and sudden crises. And I think so. The less you rely on your car for daily life, then to that extent, the better protected you will be. So the place to start is to try to reduce your reliance on the car, and if that means living. And if you can't get to work and to get your kids to school and shop for food without using your car, if you truly can't do that, then you're in a very bad place and you need to start thinking about that. And of course, all those decisions are really quite long term. People don't just move at the drop of a hat, and they've got commitments to their children and their work and so forth. But if you really can't get, for instance, if you truly cannot get to work without using your car, then perhaps you're in the wrong job, perhaps you're living in the wrong place, or a combination of those two things, or perhaps you're doing entirely the wrong thing. That's the other thing. I do think that people need to think about what is going to be required in the way of skills, and how you're going to be able to make a living after all of this stuff. And I think things are going to look rather different from that which they do today. I plead with people not to. The easy option in British education is to do what's known as media studies, and in a way, as a journalist, it makes me despair, because nobody in journalism regards a qualification in media studies. I mean, it's universally regarded as worthless. It's a joke. So it's no good now, but it's going to be doubly no good after peak oil, and when really being at much, if you like, nearer to physical production of real stuff that people really need is going to be a much better place to be. Where would you rather be? Making wind turbines? There's going to be guaranteed demand for that, or making cars. Making cars is not a good place to be, but at least you've got engineering skills which you could transfer into. You have the kinds of skills probably required, or that you could retrain to be making really useful stuff. If you've just got a qualification, so-called, in media studies, you're sunk.